Hey everyone, I'm Anya Esma, and today I want to talk to you about gatekeeping in tarot, and especially on TikTok, because honest to God, this is the only place I've really seen it intensely coming up. TikTok, sometimes Instagram, YouTube not so much, I guess, because especially on TikTok and on Instagram, you are under this pressure to have short, quick 5, 10, 15-second or 1 minute videos, and that kind of breeds a lack of nuance, as we are seeing in many discussions nowadays. And I think if you have like peppy, concise content that is wrong and gatekeeping, but interesting enough to put it into this format, then you will be successful. That is why I think this issue exists. And today I want to speak about some of the misconceptions that I have heard, or I have heard people say, I've seen people share, or that I've seen myself. So let's talk about it. And I would also like to hear what you guys have seen, because there is some pretty crazy stuff out there, and I'm not that active on TikTok. I think if I was, I'd see a lot more of it. But I have some things that I've definitely seen. This is not about misconceptions. You know, misconceptions in tarot, those can be like honest things, but I'm speaking about kind of aggressive gatekeeping behaviors that deliberately discredit some parts of an audience, or some part of a profession or whatever. And specifically, we will talk about tarot. So how does it show up? What have I personally seen? I'm not going to show scenes of people here because, first of all, it will be hard to find all of the content that I've seen in the past because I didn't save it somewhere or anything like that. And I also don't want to discredit certain people. They can do whatever they want to do. I'm making this video in order to kind of clear up some of these gatekeeping things and make people feel empowered to go their own way and to use tarot as a meaningful practice instead of having it be a gatekeeping thing. I want to say this as well, there are certain situations in which gatekeeping is totally valid. If you have a closed practice, for example, a culturally closed practice, a religiously closed practice, then I think it is right to tell people, hey, you can't really do this if you weren't initiated, if you weren't born in this or this culture, etc., etc. But in tarot, I don't think it is right to gatekeep this practice because it has evolved into something so huge. It's not like a marginalized thing that we have to protect. It's not an art that needs to be protected. It is literally a tool that so many people have so many different approaches to. So I think it's more valuable to open it to people and to have different methods and different people coming in rather than trying to limit it and just keep a select amount of people inside of it. Let's jump into the first point. The first thing I've seen with relation to gatekeeping on TikTok and other platforms is people who read intuitively are not valid and are not valuable. So these really, really toxic, poisonous TikTok videos against anyone who reads tarot intuitively. Now, as I said, we are lacking nuance here. Of course, if someone knows nothing about tarot and just started, takes money for it, makes people believe they know their future, and then just takes it and uses it in that way, that is a problem, yes. But that is not what I see with most tarot readers. I have to say, with most professional tarot readers, you have people who read intuitively, you have people who read by the book, you have people who combine both with each other, which I personally think is the best approach, but that doesn't matter. I'm not saying anyone is doing it wrong. I just think that's the best for me and for the experience I have with my clients. And it is really popular on TikTok to knock intuitive readers and be like, ha, you haven't read 5 books about tarot, you haven't learned all 78 cards by heart, then you are not a valid tarot reader and you are terrible and you are cheating people. And I'm like, wow, okay. Or maybe they say, oh, if I hear someone say this about a tarot card, like let's say if I hear someone say about the Four of Swords that it is about XYZ, not obvious meaning, then I know they are a fraud. And I'm like, okay. Especially this doesn't even do justice to the many decks are out there, to the many decks out there where you have the Four of Swords, for example, which usually is about rest and recuperation and all of those things. You know, it's like the guy lying in a stone environment, and it's either a person or just a statue lying down. So it's about rest after a battle, etc. And if another deck depicts this card in a different way and chooses to pick one of the meanings of this card and make it into something different, that doesn't make it an invalid tarot deck, and neither does it make the reader who interprets it in an untraditional way into an invalid reader. So I think this is my biggest issue, that it's basically this TikTok opinion thing where it's like you have 78 cards, you have the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, and that is all there is. And then if someone comes and interprets a card according to the Crowley tarot, then maybe they would also say, oh, this is wrong, just because they don't know. They don't know about the Crowley tarot. They don't know there's a whole other system, you know? And I feel like this is the case with many people who don't have nuance and who gatekeep and say you can't do this. They just don't know enough. They haven't seen enough. They haven't imbibed enough resources. They haven't seen enough variety of opinions. Maybe they had a teacher who told them you have to read tarot like this, otherwise it doesn't work, and they pass that on without thinking about it. Or they just go, you know, in our society, the whole rational mindset, the logic is much more praised. And it's such an easy target to go with that paradigm and say, you know, rationality and logic go above everything else, and this intuition shit has nothing to do with tarot. And it's an easy target. It's an easy route to take. It's an easy attack on tarot as a system and on tarot readers who blend intuitive and rational systems, you know, like studied systems. I can't really think of the correct word right now, but you probably know what I mean. I mean book knowledge and intuition and blending those together. So yes, there are certainly readers who are very bad and who abuse and misuse tarot for their means to make money, but most of them are not like that. And saying that one person is a fraud just because they said a non-traditional meaning is not going to be helpful or correct in any way, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. The second point I have for people gatekeeping on TikTok or other social media platforms is giving the appearance that there's only one way to do things and that is the only right way. And I'm referring now not to card meanings at all. I mean stuff like shuffling methods, stuff like cleansing decks, stuff like what questions am I allowed to ask tarot? And I see it so often. I don't even see videos that tell people this, like you're not allowed to do this. But what I see a lot is people commenting on my videos and saying like, am I allowed to use this spread with an oracle deck, or do I have to use a tarot deck for this spread? Or in witchcraft, if I add rose blossoms to this spell, will it ruin the whole spell? And I'm like, wow, I don't know where people get this, but it's just this weird gatekeeping mindset that they must get from somewhere, that there is one way to do things. And if the person doesn't open every avenue for you, if the person gives you a spread and doesn't say you can use it with tarot cards, oracle cards, runes, then it must be that you can only use it with tarot. And I see this mindset a lot, and it really hurts me because people limit themselves like this and think that there is just one right way to do things. And I totally understand that there's value to sticking to certain rules. There is value to sticking to certain structures or paradigms, especially if you are starting to learn something. But some people still write this after a long time of having practiced it. And that is where I say, man, just free yourself of these gatekeeping opinions or gatekeeping thought patterns that tell you you are only allowed to use tarot with this spread, or you are not allowed to ask oracle cards a yes/no question, or you are not allowed to do this, 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 this. It's a whole mess. And this actually leads to point 3 of the gatekeeping logic methods arguments that I see on TikTok and other places. It's you can't buy your own tarot deck. Your first tarot deck someone has to gift to you. I've read this so many times, and I'm a person who naturally doesn't really stick to rules, I suppose. So as soon as I read something like that, my mind goes, that's it. So I never even believe it. I never even started to, just a tiny bit, even believe it. And I'm sure that there is some logic that these people have. Like, I don't know, if someone gives it to you, they can teach you tarot, and that is a better way to learn than to just do it on your own or something like that. But what comes out is just, you're not allowed to buy your own tarot deck. And I'm like, wow, why would you tell someone that? That is not a good thing to say. It's not helpful. And it certainly leads to really weird stuff, like people wishing for tarot decks rather than just buying them themselves, or trying to drop hints so someone gives them one or something. And I'm like, this ain't right. So for the people out there, if you're a person who naturally sticks to these sorts of rules, especially younger people, I think, do this, but also some people who are older for sure, then question that. If you read rules like that that are completely simplified and taken out of context, question them and think about whether you do want to limit yourself in that way. Because I think sometimes people do it like subconsciously. They absorb something and think, okay, this is the truth. And especially maybe if you come from a religious background where there were a lot of rules and a lot of restrictions, you might come into a system like tarot or witchcraft and apply the same logic and think, okay, now it's time to learn the rules. It's time to learn how to do this correctly. And I don't believe that's the point of this. The point of this is to find things that work for you, that resonate with you, that give you personal power, that give you the ability to show up for people, to heal people, to help people, and to help yourself most of all. And things like that, it's just not helpful to say you can't buy your own tarot deck. So yeah, don't believe that stuff. Now, as a fourth point, I want to mention another gatekeeping argument that people have on TikTok, which I actually asked you guys on Instagram what gatekeeping things you hear of, and this was one of the ones that got shared. I've never heard it personally myself, but it kind of relates to the first point I made, which the gatekeeping argument here is, if you don't know the Rider-Waite-Smith system, then you don't know tarot. Why would someone say that? I don't know. If you have any insight on this, please share it in the comments, why people say these things. Also, let me know if you ever believed some of these things when you were starting out, maybe. And yeah, let's just briefly talk about it. There are different systems of tarot than Rider-Waite-Smith. And you have stuff like the Crowley Tarot. You have oracle decks, which are, I understand, not tarot, but still it's related to card reading. And often this is another thing. I see this mix of card reading and tarot, like card reading equals tarot. It doesn't. There's Rider-Waite-Smith, there's the Crowley Tarot, there's the Marseille deck. There's just so much. So you see, there are many, many ways to read cards. And to say that you don't know tarot or you don't know card reading until you've learned the Rider-Waite-Smith system is absolutely bonkers. It's crazy to me that people would say that. But yes, so I hope that you have not encountered any of this gatekeeping. Let me know what gatekeeping you have encountered, what you have believed, what you have not believed, how you feel in general the atmosphere is for new tarot readers or people who are just dabbling in witchcraft on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever channel. Let me know where you feel comfortable and where you feel maybe people are kind of kept out of it and kept low, kept small. So yeah, let me know how you feel about it. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Maybe someone in the audience learned something. And I feel like, my viewers are mostly very educated and do whatever they want in their own way. But maybe there are people watching me who believed some of this and who limit their thinking in this way. So let me know if that was you, maybe. If you want to see more of me, you can follow me on Instagram. I do also have a TikTok, though I don't upload much there, but still, you can follow me if you want to. And I also obviously have my YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe if you want to chill in my domain a little bit longer and look at other videos. I hope that you find something that is helpful for you, whether it's tarot or some witchy stuff or just spiritual things in general, self-development, etc. I hope there's something in here for you. And yeah, thank you for staying till the end, and I will see you very, very soon.